Kongversation.
I'd crash the plane on this Californian golf course. This reminds me of that one Hollywood celebrity, Ernie Hudson. Yeah, that's the one.
Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell, and this is a special Comic-Con edition of the Kongversation. Now, Chad and I did not go to Comic-Con. Chad, by the way, is not here this week. We are down one McKenna. He has decided to go off into the wilderness to prepare for my bachelor party, which is in just a few weeks' time, and as we announced previously, my bachelor party will be an episode of the Kongversation. I do have guests with me this week, though. Two people from the DK Vine Forum, from, I guess, Kongversation calling fame, who both went to Comic-Con this year and, I guess, reported back on the ground what they saw as relates to Rare and the Donkey Kong universe. So first up, we've got, he's known by two names. He is the ACZ. First of all, ACZ, say hi. Your name is also Adam, but I'm going to call you ACZ unless you tell me otherwise.
That's completely fine. Adam's also good. Hey, how you doing?
ACZ. All right. I prefer ACZ because it's harder to say. And if there's anything that is consistent about the Kongversation, it's inherent clunkiness. So welcome, ACZ. We're also joined by Agent Ape.
Yep, that's
who
me.
Yes, of Conker's Pocket Tales HD fame.
Rest in peace, Conker. I can't believe he's dead.
Is Conker dead or is Project Spark dead? I didn't realize they killed Conker in the deal as well.
Well, canceled dead, it's kind of the same thing, right? Young Conker is more like the real death, but...
Wouldn't Young Conker be the abortion?
It would, actually. You know,
or maybe the miscarriage, depending on how young this Conker actually is. Anyway, welcome to the show, Agent Ape and ACZ. So you guys were both at Comic-Con, and we'll be getting into Comic-Con in just a few minutes. But first of all, I have to take this call. This call is from Joel. And Joel, if you remember 2 episodes ago when we started digging into the call sack once E3 discussion was over, Joel was one of the first calls we took. And this call was, I think, from February, so it had been several months just sitting in the call sack waiting to be heard. And Joel, if you remember, he was a guy who had just started listening to the Kongversation. He was commuting a lot for his work and listening to the show in his car, which is probably more dangerous than playing Pokemon Go while driving. Joel, you really shouldn't do that. But Joel was the one who said that he was really excited about Ukulele, but I guess he was had a point of contention with us that, you know, he just wasn't excited about Sea of Thieves because all the good ones at Rare left. And Chad and I were like, no. We went into our usual spiel. And then almost immediately, Joel contacted me on Facebook. As soon as the episode went up, he contacted me on Facebook and called back into the show. And apparently, well, I'll just let Joel describe it. So let's hear from him.
Hey, Hyle and Chad. This is Joel Feiler. I was in the last week's episode. Well, maybe if you play it this next week. But you guys answered one of my calls, and I'm literally calling right after you guys got done talking about my question. I can't say how embarrassed I am or how nervous I was. That was when I started listening to DK Vine, and I had a very different mindset then. And my question was talking about ukulele versus Sea of Thieves and the studios. And I can't tell you how uneducated I feel when I heard that now versus when I recorded that. And part of me was haunted because I knew that call was sitting there, and I was just praying that it would never come out because I'm like, that call is so not relevant now. I was frustrated about Sea of Thieves when I first heard it, because I was one of those naysayers about Rare, and I was one of those, where's Banjo 3? But since I've been listening, and maybe this can be a cool thing for you guys, where you can see the effect that your show has on new people watching it, that I was one of those people, and I feel absolutely stupid now because you guys have showed me how wrong I was and how wrong I was about Rare and how much potential Rare has and how they still are an amazing developer, and that I just didn't know that because of what you guys did say, that they have been quiet and that they're changing that now. But I just had to call back immediately. I feel so embarrassed and ashamed right now because that call is, and I thank you for being respectful still about it, because I know that was probably an annoying call to get. But, I mean, now I understand that I was completely wrong and that I am excited for both ukulele and, I mean, since E3 and since everything that I've seen from you guys, I'm probably, it's hard to say, ukulele is like a fulfillment of a childhood dream. But I play games with my girlfriend as well, just like you guys, well, your wife and fiance. But I'm so excited to be able to play Sea of Thieves with my friends and her, and I don't know, I'm pretty excited for both now. And so I just wanted to apologize, but also let you guys know that listening to this does make a difference. And that as far as my perspective goes, I'm not one of those Where's Banjo 3 people anymore. I mean, I still love it, but I'm not angry at Rare. I'm not upset that there hasn't been one. I understand where everything stands. So I hope that makes for my life. And I still love your guys' podcast. Listen to it every week. Have to drive all the time, so it keeps me entertained. But I hope you guys are doing well, and I'm pissed that Perry, the parallel bird,
Okay, he cut off a bit at the end there, but I think he was saying that he was pissed that Perry the Parallel Bird hasn't become an inductee into the DK Vine Hall of Fame, which to that I say, there's still one more induction to go this year. Who's to say who's going to get in or not get in?
It's not Forrest Wong?
It could be Forrest Wong.
It better be Forrest Wong.
It better be. Oh,
come on. We just paid our way onto this podcast, okay? We don't want to have to go through all the other legal retributions again, okay?
Yeah, you paid your way. You really broke the bank getting on this show. Well, I don't know how much you paid to get into Comic-Con, so maybe you did.
Well, I guess if you really want to know, I am an active forum member on DK Vine, but in my spare time, I do write for a website, and that website is called Geekscape.net. And this year, they gave me the great opportunity to actually help them attend Comic-Con and cover stuff for them. And I got in this
so you got in for free, you chump.
Yeah, I did. And not only that, but I got in as press, and because of that, I was able to also help you get in, my friend.
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh wow! Well, maybe we need to try that trick.
well, I didn't get him in for free. He still had to pay $250 for an actual badge, but I got him in.
Yeah, well, that's better than what it costs for the public to get into E3, which is close to $1,000.
Yeah, we were checking. Mitchell was sending us. He sent us a picture of the ticket prices, and it was $2,000. I'm like, Mitch, you're not buying this.
Yeah, I don't think Mitch was looking at the correct Comic-Con tickets this time. I'm pretty sure he was looking at a wrong site.
Well, anyway, Joel, I just wanted to say thank you for the call, and
again, it's okay, Joel. You changed your ways.
Well, there are no hard feelings. I'm glad we helped. I don't know.
You enlightened him.
I don't want to use that terminology like enlightening or educating, but I'm glad we could help display the facts of the matter and I don't know, inadvertently persuade somebody. And I'm glad that we can be excited for both Yooka-Laylee and Sea of Thieves. I'm tired of the like I've said so many weeks now. I'm so tired of the narrative that it's either or. You have to be a fan of Yooka-Laylee or a fan of Sea of Thieves. I mean, as Rare fans, we are the most blessed we've been in over a decade at this point, because we've got these two killer games coming from Rare veterans, from some of the newer people at Rare. it's just a fantastic time, and why can't we celebrate both? And so Joel, I'm glad you see things the way you do now, and thank you for calling in, because I know full disclosure, Chad and I both listened to this call ahead of time, and I know Chad was really touched by what you said, and as was I. So Chad did hear it.
We love you, Joel.
With us this week.
We love you too, Joel. But I just want to say this as a preface before we begin the Comic-Con stuff. But there will be there was very positive feedback from Sea of Thieves looking at Comic-Con, and I do think that people are really starting to accept it and get into the mood of it. And so we can expand upon that a bit later, but I just want to preface that with, it is certainly coming up very positive now.
Yeah, like the mindset of not just Joel, but like everyone's kind of getting more positive about Rare's future, instead of just thinking it's not Banjo-Kazooie or whatever.
Yeah, it's been a slow turning of the tide, and there's still a lot of work to do, I think, for Rare, and I guess for the hardcore Rare fans to really continue to win over hearts and minds. But compared to where we were a year ago, oh God, yes, it's fantastic, and it's really nice, especially after E3 and after people had a chance to play it, especially a lot of the gaming press, and then after Comic-Con, where they got, they've reached other people who didn't get to play the game, but at least got a lot of juicy tidbits. There's definitely good word of mouth for Sea of Thieves right now, and I hope it continues. But and I'm sure it will. But anyway, let's get into the show at hand. Comic-Con 2016 discussion. First of all, if you would like to be like Joel and call the conversation, give us a ring at 1-281-410-KONG. That's 5664. I am informed that part is always part of the jingle, too, where Chad says, and a word, that word is Kong. I differed in opinion. I said that was never part of the official jingle, but
I remember that being in the jingle. I remember it being in the jingle from at least the next couple episodes after the jingle premiered.
It was indeed in the jingle. I do remember listening to Sleepless Nights.
It was like an amendment to the jingle. It wasn't part of the original script.
It was like the dubstep remix of the jingle,
Well, maybe not the original thing, but as you guys went on, you guys just sort of started integrating it.
To be fair, when Chad's talking, I usually zone out, so I'm sure it was there really early on, but I usually would just wait for my turn to talk and then completely dismiss everything he said. So, apologies to you, Chad.
Here's to you, Chad.
My bachelor party in the woods with booze and 2 mics. What could go wrong? Anyway, and also there's DK Vine on Patreon, dkvine.com/Patreon. Follow us on social media. We're at Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. Check out our YouTube channel. A lot of great video content coming up, including the last part of the Hall of Fame, the aforementioned coronation of Forrest Wong. So that is at dkvine.com/YouTube. DK Vine. Oh, yeah, the forum. Never been a better time to join. DK Vine! Woo! We got a lot of stuff going on right now. All right, Kongversation. Comic-Con. The Comic Kongversation. Now, Rare, they first went to Comic-Con, I believe the first time was last year to, pimp Rare Replay. And
is that what the kids call it these days?
Yeah, it was funny because when we were at E3 and we met a lot of the Rare guys for the first time last year, they kept asking us, are you guys going to be at Comic-Con too? And it's like, we're not made them fucking money. Like, how are we going to go to E3 and Comic-Con when we both live on the East Coast? But they asked us again this year. We were like, no, we're not going to go to Comic-Con. But last year, Mitchell Wolf went to Comic-Con. I believe he went again this year as well.
Former future staffer Mitchell Wolf.
Yes.
He's his
future staffer.
Full title.
I think he's future staffer, formerly former staffer, formerly future staffer. I think his status as future staffer has been reinstated, although I need to check the paperwork.
I see.
But yeah, I believe he was at Comic-Con with you guys again this year, or at least you ran into him.
We met up with him on one of the days.
We met up with him for about 5 minutes, and that was about it. For the most part, he was very busy with school, so we were not able to.
Yeah, he wasn't able to attend Comic-Con like proper, but he was able to like. He lives in San Diego, so it's like he's in the area, so he figured he'd like meet up and say hi.
I figured he was just there to hit on booth babes again. As he did
he actually had a chance this time since you guys weren't around.
That's right, unless you guys were just blowing up his spot the whole time.
Oh yeah, I was just coming in with my Sea of Thieves sleeves, trying to make all the worst pirate puns I could, you know. That really distracted him.
Yeah, well, you guys got the sleeves at Comic-Con too?
Oh yeah, we can talk about that a bit later. We'll tell you about that.
I'm a little discouraged. I thought the sleeves were just for us E3 snowflakes. And I didn't.
We actually got 2 of them each.
Yeah, we feel special now. Yeah, are you feeling special anymore, Hyle?
I thought I had something special going on with Rare. Robin Beanland gave me my sleeves.
Well, Robin Beanland also signed his Ape's copy of Pocket Tales.
That's right. What? Mitchell got him to sign it, right?
Yeah, it's faded already. I'm gonna need to get it re-signed.
Just send it to him every couple of months. You need to re-sign us. Anyway, Mitchell was at Comic-Con last year, and he was our,
your correspondent.
Yeah. So we brought him on the show this year. You guys knew you were going to Comic-Con. You asked us, is there anything you want us to do while you're there? And I was like, no. Enjoy yourself. But I would like to get you guys on the conversation afterwards and kind of dish on what you saw, the experiences you had, especially pertaining to the Donkey Kong universe and Rare in particular. Rare was back again this year. They did their Sea of Thieves Art of Adventure panel. And it was, I believe, Peter Hentz, Joe Neate, Adam Park, and Ryan Stevenson.
Yep, that sounds like, I think that was all of them.
Yes, from what I can remember, that was it. Let me quickly check. I have a picture that they actually posted of the panel. It was a very lovely panel, and they actually all had their different pirate names shown on screen.
Yeah, that was how they started it off. They were like, okay, we're going to introduce ourselves, but we're not going to use our actual names. We're going to use our pirate names.
Oh, and so just to, you go first.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I believe, for example, Joe Neate's is 3-sheet neat.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here it is. It was the Damned Park, 3 Sheets Neat, Ryan Scurvyson, and Yo-Ho Hentz. Those are the 4 crew members.
Very offensive.
Yeah, those are, and actually, like, Chad and I got our own pirate names when we were at Rare, penned by Greg Males. So I, for example, was Cousin Russell. So that is something I hold close and dearly to my heart. And it is also what I'm going to name my pirate character in Sea of Thieves.
It's very befitting of you.
Yes, I know, motherfucker. Anyway. So it was those 4 guys. And now we know a little bit of what the panel entailed. But before we really get into that, we have one call pertaining to Sea of Thieves at Comic-Con. So I thought we would take that. So if you'll be ready, this is from Banjo-Kazooie Tooie 2000, the name that just rolls off the tongue.
Hi, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Ahoy, Chad and Hyle. It's me, Banjo-Kazooie Tooie 2000 here, and going to be making some comments and assertions about the stuff we have learned about Sea of Thieves at San Diego Comic-Con. Now, at first, I didn't really know that Rare is actually going to have a panel there until one of their tweets, which described who was going to be at the panel, like Adam Park, Ryan Stevenson, and those other guys that I can't remember the names of because I'm bad at remembering names. Yeah. And in that tweet was the sort of silhouette version of the character design for what Rare is called Pirate Lord. And I actually thought at first, based on the shadow, that he was a redesigned Captain Black Eye from Dream and Banjo-Tooie. But, of course, as we have seen, it's not Captain Black Eye, but a really nice looking character design for Sea of Thieves. Another one of those excellent looking characters. I wonder if we could actually, like, if that could possibly be, like, what your character looks like. I'm not talking about, like, yours and you from It's Mr. Pants. I'm just saying, like, your character models. And if you were making Avatar, like, could you make him look like he or she look like a pirate lord or pirate mistress? I guess you could call that. And then the figureheads. Obviously, there's the Banjo-Kazooie connection there, and everybody was, getting all excited over that a little bit. But for me, I really, I think this sort of gives a connection to the other Rare games, and not in a, Donkey Kong universe sense, but it's kind of how Rare always slips, not always, but most of the time, slips little references to their other games. In, in a Conker game, they may have a reference to Banjo-Kazooie, which I think that was a thing in Conker. No, it was a reference to Conker in Banjo-Kazooie in Rusty Bucket Bay. But, and when you die, you go to this ghostly pirate ship. I would like to think it's a means of, after your death in Sea of Thieves, you roam in this ghostly ship, kind of like in Pirates of the Caribbean, how there was the Black Pearl and all the crewmates on that ship. In the moonlight, they get all ghosty and all skeleton-like. I don't know if there's going to be, too many connections to Pirates of the Caribbean. I can sort of hear it in the music that Robert Beanland has put out. But, besides that, before I get cut off by the 3-minute timer, I have a jingle, because I remember, Chad, you requested that we callers make a jingle before we leave. So, 148 calls before you begin to pout. This has been Banjo-Kazooie 2000. Up, over, under, and out. Bye then.
All right. Well, thank you for the call, Banjo-Kazooie 2000.
That was beautiful, Bob.
That was some nice rhyming there, Dr. Seuss. Good job.
You really need to extend that name. Banjo-Kazooie, Tui, Grunny's Revenge Mobile, Grunny's Revenge Mission, Banjo Pilot, Nuts and Bolts 2000. I think that name just is spectacular.
It really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue just as well as ACZ does. That's what it would. Yeah. Anyway, no. Thank you for the call. The Pirate Lord, I think, was the big reveal as far as lore goes on the Sea of Thieves panel. For those of you who haven't been following along, the Pirate Lord is the kind of ghostly pirate captain that not only did they reveal in artwork, but they also gave out in little glow-in-the-dark minifigure form. They did, in fact, do that. Also, just a small clarification on Rare at Comic-Con. Rare was actually at Comic-Con before last year, because in 2007 was when they revealed Viva Pinata Pocket Paradise at Comic-Con.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, 2007, I kind of had one foot out of DK Vine at that time.
Excuses, Hyle. You were wrong if we were right, you see.
We were involved in television production at the time, and
I'm Hyle. I'm busy. I do television stuff. I get Emmys. Gosh.
We were also bitter and disillusioned at the time, and going through our mid-20s depressive crises. So yeah, whatever. Actually, that was still early 20s, but whatever. We were still miserable fucks at the time.
So the figures, do you want us to just kind of go over how the panel so we walk in and we get the figures first, and then we walk into the panel.
Who hands you the figures, by the way?
I think it was either Adam Park or one of the other crew members there.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the guys.
It was definitely what did he look like? I
don't know. It was very quick. The line was moving very fast.
The line moved very fast. But to be fair, just to tell you guys, there was a good line, and kind of like last year, we got inside the convention center after waiting outside for a while. We saw the Skullduggers outside, and that was a really cool thing to see.
Yeah. So we left. We waited. We were waiting in line. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
The Skullduggers were the band, the pirate band from E3, who we have videos of on our YouTube channel, dkbond.com/YouTube. And so they brought the Skullduggers back.
Yeah, they were at Comic-Con. And, like, it's a funny story. Like, the first time we met them was before the panel. We were, like, waiting in line to get into the convention hall. And we were like, oh, wait, it's the Skullduggers. So we left the line. And then we went over to say hi. And then we were like, oh, yeah. Now we have to wait in line again.
So we have to get back in line now and just wait to get in for, like, another 10 minutes.
If I knew they were going to be there, I would have had you request grog mails because they would have hated that.
Do they not like singing that one?
No. At E3, we essentially went up and requested grog mails a total of about 7 times between Chad and me. And at a certain point, they're like, how do these random people know this song? And it's because it's a song we knew from our time visiting Rare. We may have gotten a taste of it then. It was baffling to them that people were coming up requesting one of the songs that Rare had trained them to learn ahead of time. So that would have just been great to continue that torment at Comic-Con.
Well, sadly, that was actually one of the last appearances we saw of the Skullduggers because we were actually very busy at Comic-Con, not just with the Rare and DKU stuff, but I myself had other duties to fulfill for the website I worked for.
Yeah, so we actually only saw them, like, that one time, and they weren't even, like, playing music at the time or anything. Yeah. They were just kind of setting up.
They were roaming the gas lamp district of San Diego, though, constantly playing music and handing out free tattoos and stickers, and it was really
sleeves,
fun.
I think, too,
Yeah.
When you say handing out free tattoos, of course you're talking about the fabric sleeves, but I had this vision of them just forcibly tattooing people against their will with needles.
Oh no, you didn't hear? That's what they did. You know, they grabbed Amir, took him down, and just started, etching Skull Cove onto his right abdomen.
Oh yeah, speaking of, Amir was also there.
Yeah, Amir, our AKA the Rare Thief, our good buddy Amir, which, I laugh that your Rare asked if we were going to be at E3 and Comic-Con, but Amir somehow manages to do that, although he does live, I believe he lives in the Southwest, so it works for Amir more than it does Chad and myself. But, yeah, I'm sure Amir would actually love being tattooed because that would be one piece of Rare memorabilia nobody else could have etched on his body. He is a devout collector of Rare merchandise. Anyway, so Skullduggers were there, and you guys left the line, but you rejoined the line, and eventually you got in, and a Rare employee, possibly Adam Park, handed you the glow-in-the-dark.
Oh, so
figures.
no. So we go to stand in line. We're like 7th in line.
Yeah,
and Adam.
So here about the line, actually. It was actually not completely empty when we got there. There were about 4 people already actually waiting in front of us. So we thought that was cool.
Which is impressive for Comic-Con, because at Comic-Con there is the totality of pop culture trying to distract you and get people's attention.
We were there like super early too. Like we were way before anyone else.
About an hour or two before the panel.
Yeah, so it's not like E3 even, where it's just the video game industry competing with itself. This is everything in geek culture kind of trying to get a piece of the pie. And so that's pretty impressive that they already had people in line for Sea of Thieves at Comic-Con.
Yeah, especially considering that it's the first day and it's the morning, in which this is probably the only time where you'll see Comic-Con kind of low-key, because the rest of the days just escalate and escalate even more as it goes on. But we got there wasn't that many people, but like right when we got there at like the perfect time. People just started piling behind us, and they pretty much packed that room that they were in.
Yeah, they packed the hall for sure.
How big was the room, roughly? Give me the exact dimensions. Don't guess. Don't approximate.
It was an ABC room.
Yeah,
right?
it was an ABC room, so it was about 3 rooms. 3 rooms that make one long room, and they were able to pretty much pack it. And so, yeah, we thought that was pretty great. So it's like people were actually excited. You know, we saw people talking about it in line. You know, I was wearing my Skull Cove t-shirt. at the time.
And we were wearing our discontinued
Jiggy necklaces from
Fangamer.
Oh yeah. They discontinued those.
They discontinued the necklaces, but not the keychains.
Keychains. Okay. I was gonna say I'm still contemplating whether to get one of those keychains. Cheap plug for our friends at Fangamer. Like they need it. But anyway. In the line as you got in, possibly Adam Park was handing out these glow in the dark pirate lord figures in carded bubble packaging too. I should say, like these are actually.
Oh yeah, they were very nicely packed. I am not opening mine, I don't think.
Oh well, yeah, I definitely opened mine, and so were the other guys on the rare team. You know, after the panel was over, you know, you saw Adam Park and some of the other rare employees. You know, they were just ripping them open. They were like, rip it, open it.
I like it because it reminds me. I used to collect these figures, these like monocolored figures called Monster in My Pocket. I believe I've discussed this on a conversation before, but they were just these like little tiny figures that came in different colors, but just one color of different monsters from like mythology and history and stories. And that was like something I was obsessed with for like 1 or 2 years as a kid.
Yeah,
so
that's why that's the one that prevents Pokemon from being pocket monsters, right?
Yes, exactly. Because they were actually I believe they're going to localize Pokemon as pocket monsters in the West, but Monsters in My Pocket kind of, I think, took them to the court. I don't know. I thought Monsters in My Pocket lost, but they avoided it anyway by just calling it Pokemon here, which has worked wondrously for them, and not so much for Monster in My Pocket, which nobody remembers but me. But nonetheless, these Pirate Lord figures look very much like Monster in My Pocket, so I'm kind of jealous you guys got your hands on them.
Well, actually, we have a bit of news for you guys, because when we were talking to the guys after the panel, they mentioned that they would be sending these figurines out to the superfans like you guys and, you know, the Crow's Nest and all those different types of guys. So you guys are assured to get them, like, in the next couple of weeks, maybe.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, Rare loves you. They don't love us, but they love you.
Yeah, but actually, it's very funny because while we were waiting, it was about 30 minutes before the panel began. Joe Need actually approached us because he saw I was wearing a Sea of Thieves shirt, and we decided to introduce ourselves, but not specifically in the way you guys would think. So, do you guys remember when we met at E3 and you gave us your business cards?
I'm not sure why we did that, and I'm starting to dawn on me that was probably a bad idea.
So this was only one of the terrible choices you guys made in giving us your business cards. The other one we will touch upon later. But Joe Need approaches us, and we are very kind, and we go up to him and we're like, "Hello there."
You were very kind. You didn't kick him in the knees. You didn't rob him at gunpoint. No, you were
that's
very
probably
nice.
good, because
we were very respectful. We went up and I said, "Hello there, nice to meet you. I am Chad McCanna, co-founder of DK Vine,
and I'm Hyle Russell."
Why would you do this?
And he gave us such a look.
He gave us this very odd look, and then all he did was reply with, "And I am very confused." And what he does is he proceeds to take the Hyle business card from Ape and just stick it in his pocket.
Yeah, he kidnapped my business card, and then he handed us his,
which were beautiful, by the way, and we'll touch on that business card later. But anyways,
they've got the Sea of Thieves business cards now, which are black with the gold.
Yeah,
gold
it's like
text.
Gold, shiny, shimmery. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels really good. Actually, I really like it.
It feels really good on the skin. Just strip down and just rub them all over. Yeah. No, we got a bunch of the new business cards, and we were kind of in awe of them because they're just like made of such a sturdy cardboard stock, and ours are these little flimsy things, and it just, like, I don't know. They're nice. They're big and black, and once you go black, you know what they say. You know what they say with the penises.
But you know what? No, it is, like, really good. Like, I really like the business cards. Like, it makes me want to see, like, each year, like, not just, like, I couldn't care less for the games. Actually, I care deeply for the games, but, Like, it seems like the highlight.
The business cards now.
Yeah, just in it for the business cards. Like, oh, what do you think Rare's going to do this year with the business cards? Oh, I don't know. What do you think they're going to do for their holiday greetings? Oh gosh, this is going to be such a good year for Rare fans. I can feel it.
I wish we had a more professional relationship with Rare prior to last year, because I really want to go back and see their business cards from like over the years. Like, I want to see what their business cards look like, assuming this tradition extends that far back, which it might only extend to the Craig Duncan era. But I would really like to see, what their business cards would look like for Donkey Kong Land, for example. Or...
They just have like a hogwash background, just with like some fake wings on it.
It's just the Donkey Kong Country business cards, but with the color drained from them, and you can't read what's on the actual business card because the background is too detailed.
They just have like a small PNG picture of Bear for their Donkey Kong Land 3 business cards.
Oh yeah, did they even have PNGs back in '97, or is that I don't know. Anyway,
yeah. So after all the business card shenanigans,
let's talk about the business cards another 20 minutes, please.
No, okay. So we finally get into the hall where they're having the panel. We finally get into the room.
After you've already alienated Joe Neat and not only made him think you two are huge weirdos, but also incriminated Chad and I in the process.
Yes. But so the panel finally starts, and Adam Park comes up and he's like, "Hello there, welcome to today's panel." Now
was he wet? Because this is actually somebody I believe a V Cummings on our Facebook page asked if inquired. I think both Ian Taylor and V Cummings asked if Adam Park would be wet Adam Park at Comic-Con.
He may have been slightly moist from the San Diego heat, but other than that, he was not full-on drenched Aquaman style.
Okay, so he was just moist Adam Park.
He was moderately drenched.
Yes.
Moderately drenched Adam Park. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so Adam Park comes up to the mic and he's like, "Good day. Today, so now I know what all of you are thinking. You are here for the Sea of Thieves Art of Adventure panel. Well, sadly, we cannot do that panel today. So instead, we will be having a very lengthy discussion about Brexit and the decision for the UK to leave the EU." And you know what? At first, me and Abe were a bit hesitant about their decision to do this, but you know what?
It was way more interesting than the CFC discussion.
Yeah, it was way better, and just like our hero Donkey Kong off of Donkey Kong Country, the TV show, we decided to give it the old banana try, and it was a very intriguing discussion. I'm personally more excited about the repercussions this has on the UK. Okay, yeah, no.
He did a throwaway joke, and it was pretty funny. It made me laugh.
But wait, okay, I can't tell if you're doing a bit there or if Adam Park actually did.
Adam Park actually did make a joke about Brexit.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the start.
To be fair, I would love a current affairs show about politics hosted by those four guys. I think that would be fantastic, and honestly, that probably would be better than any video game discussion, because I think that would just be the most bizarre thing. So I hope the game they make after Sea of Thieves is just... I don't know, a political discussion game. I don't know, like Meet the Press in the US, but only a video game. With rare characters, of course. I want to see what Bottles thinks about President Donald Trump. I think, or maybe the whole Bottles family. Like, you could have I'm sure Jam Jars is being a solid military man is just kind of banging his head on the desk that Donald Trump is encouraging Russia to hack the United States. I'm sorry, continue.
Yes, so they introduced themselves with the pirate names, which I still think was very great, and they began to talk about their history with pirates, just in case people didn't know. They talked about how much they basically loved pirates, and they had a very nice picture showing like every single pirate that's been in a Rare game. You got Captain Black Eye.
Except not the Nintendo-owned ones. They avoided those.
Yeah, like there was no Captain K. Rool, no Kremlings, but they did have Captain Black Eye, Captain Blubber, the zombie pirates from Grabbed by the Ghoulies. They threw Pano in there even. They threw in the grunts from Jolly Roger, the Pinatas. You know, it was a very nice. It was a very nice slide. You know, it also has the Rare logo.
I noticed they didn't have like Jolly Roger on there.
It's because they're not supportive of the LGBT community, you see.
Clearly, yes. No, they also had Captain Blubber on there twice. One from his Kazooie appearance and one
from Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to see this image, by the way, we do have it on dkvine.com. Just go to the recent news articles and go to the one about Rare's Comic-Con panel. It's actually a great image, and it's something that we've been preaching, you know, since last year, since Sea of Thieves was announced, that Rare's always been about pirates. It's been one of the most reoccurring through lines in their games. So if you're really upset about them making a pirate game, you really don't have that much of an understanding of Rare history.
After that, they moved on, and basically they gave Ryan Stevenson the entire floor for basically the rest of the panel, so he could shine his light, so to speak, and finally show off all these great, you know, concept arts and just all this detail that they're putting into the game. And one of them in the beginning was called Visual Separation Through Color and Tone, which is basically they're trying to make an art style that can be very much seen,
like
distinguished no matter like what you can see. So if you're very near or farsighted, or you have a bit worse vision than some other people, like even squinting, you can still make out most of the main things in like a picture.
Yeah, so they showed like a side-by-side image of what it looks like before it's blurred and like when it's like after it's blurred, and you can still kind of tell everything apart even in the blurred image. And so that's what they were sort of trying to demonstrate.
What you're saying is crippling alcoholics can pick up Sea of Thieves and play just as well as the sober.
Of course, that's why it's the perfect game for Rare fans.
Yeah, I mean,
because we all have substance abuse problems.
Yeah, and I mean, you can even experience that in-game when you go to a pub and get drunk, you know, you start, like, blurring.
Now I'm curious, though, is when it's blurred in-game when you're drunk, will that affect the people who have poor vision in real life? Can they still make that out?
I'm not quite sure about that. They didn't touch upon the specifics, you know. Nobody was really chomping at the bit for that question.
It's champing at the bit.
Champing at the bit. But they did move on to tell that they don't want anything to look new or shiny. They want everything in the game, they said, has to tell a story. Everything has a story to tell. Everything you see, it is not new. It has been there for ages, you know. It has an extensive history with that item.
Yeah, so they wanted everything to look like beaten up and like patched and put back together, and
this is what they refer to as the wonky method, which is basically split up into 3 different things, making something look wonky, wear and tear, and patched and repaired. And the examples they showed were like the floorboards on the pirate ship. If you look down at the floorboards, you won't see like straight, perfect, shiny floorboards. You will see dirty, roughed up, patched, you know, uneven, like separated floorboards, you know, very creaky. And, you know, the mast, it's got scratches on it. It's
from like swords and stuff.
Yeah, it's very dirty. The sails for the pirate ship, you know, they have holes in them. They've been patched up. They don't look in the best shape of their life. And
right, it's kind of like the same design philosophy of the original Star Wars trilogy, where the universe is lived in. It's not just right off the prop making bench. It actually has a history that we never saw. They actually went over this with us when we were at Rare. We sat in on a design meeting with them, and we sat in on the history of the art style of the game meeting. And the kind of wonkiness and the wear and tear, and the whole art style in general is kind of designed to hold up So like 10 years from now, the game's still going to look gorgeous. And hopefully the game will still be very much active 10 years from now as well. So,
yeah, and this isn't only a rule for the items in the game, but it's also for the character designs, and they showed that off. They showed like basically a base character model for a pirate, and then they started like adding more and more facial features to him. They started adding like more scratches and more scars, you know.
Like messed up his eyes.
Messed up his eyes, messed up his teeth, gave him like a scowl. And like it's really cool to see this kind of stuff.
Your character's not an anime pretty boy.
Yeah. Your character has actually... This isn't your character's first go-around. This character has like already had this experience. They've already been an adventuring pirate.
Wait a second. Wait a second, guys. That means that Sakurai is never going to put a Sea of Thieves character in Smash Brothers.
Oh, of course not. That would be too good. Who cares?
We can never win with that guy.
You know, they'd still... Even if they did get into the game, all they would do is just use like the jungle theme from Skull Cove. They just do it like 8 different times, you know?
Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's disgusting.
So after that, they also showed and talked a bit about the mer people that was in the E3 cinematic trailer, and they talked a bit more about those creatures, and one of the things they showed was a merman model, and whenever it would turn...
Yeah, they had it like on a rotating, rotating on its axis.
And every time it would turn to face us, it would become slightly more and more deformed until it turned into this very odd sea creature. And so that got
interesting.
Me wondering, you know, could this sort of be what our characters do this in the game? You know, can you turn into a mer person and explore underwater? Like, I think that could be like amazing and open up so many different gameplay possibilities if you could do that.
That's interesting that they revealed that. That's all I'll say.
But then, like, you know, they started to talk about ship customization finally, and they're like, you know, you've seen the ships in the gameplay trailers, but those aren't the only ships you're going to see. We have much more different and varied ship models that you can choose from. There's going to be all different types of ships of each shapes and sizes, and, you know, they'll be to their own factions, and they showed those off on a rotating little axis also.
And the factions were like the monkey, the
snake, the serpent sly.
Yeah, basically the shirts and stuff that you could buy around E3 time last time or something.
They're the ones they gave out at E3. Yeah. There was I believe it's the Mad Monkey, something mermaid something, and the serpent something. I forget off the top of my head, but yeah. Anyways, they showed off the models for those ships, and they look really nice. You know, one of them's like a red and black ship. The other one's sort of like has a regular ship feel, but it also seems slightly new, but still old. It's very interesting, actually. But, you know, after that, they finally started talking about a little bit more of the customization. And what was it, the head of the board that's in the front of the ship? Figureheads.
Yes, the figureheads. Those are also very much customizable, and they showed that off by showing off Joanna Dark and Banjo and Kazooie, you know. Or in this case, a very angry-looking bear with a regal crest.
Yeah, this is a realistic-looking bear. This isn't a cartoony bear. And Joanna Dark herself it's not Joanna Dark. It's a pirate rendition of a figure that looks remarkably like Joanna Dark. It's an homage more than anything, but yeah, it's still very clear what it's supposed to be. This really tantalized me. This Banjo Kazooie, or should I say, just bear and Breagle feathered figurehead is very tantalizing because it makes me wonder. Now, of course, at the panel, they once again reiterated there are no legendary pirates in the game, which they usually refer to like Blackbeard and other famous pirates because they want the players themselves to create their own in-game legendary pirates. The pirate you play has a chance to become legendary. But we do know via the Pirate Lord and the Skellies that were introduced at E3 that there are going to be NPC characters and some characters hanging out in the fringes of the game. So, assuming all the hints about Black Eye are true, could Black Eye's references to a bear that once stole his glory, maybe he's actually referring to the pirate crew who had this bear and figurehead on their ship, and maybe Black Eye is still just traumatized about that.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there was actually a tavern somewhere in Sea of Thieves named Jolly's, like on some random island. It's just there's a Jolly's pub.
Well, we know there are taverns in the game. We've seen some taverns. So, if Black Eye is in the game, and like I said, just reading the tea leaves, but I think the tea leaves are reading pretty good. This isn't me trying to be coy. This is just me speculating, but also I've been doing this for over 20 years now, so I think I've gotten pretty good at it.
Okay, but how many times have you been wrong? I'm Hyle. I'm always right about that.
No. I've been wrong so many times, but my days of being wrong are over. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see.
Saying, from this point on, I'm always right.
So you're perfect.
I'm a perfect man now. I've achieved perfection. I've ascended to a higher state of being. I am now an energy person. I am a star child.
I'm very proud of you, Star Child.
I couldn't be more happy about how your life is turning out. But
I'm an amazing man. But my point is, maybe Black Eye is just a drunken mess in this game. So he's not a legendary pirate. He's just a complete fraud, a drunken fraud who immediately washed out, and he's just hanging out in a tavern somewhere in the game. That is my hunch. I'm hoping I'm right. Because if I'm not right, I have to rescind Star Child status.
We wouldn't want that to happen for you.
No. Anyway, continue.
So, afterwards, they showed a lot of videos. They actually replayed the gameplay trailer with you guys at it, and the reception was actually really good. And that's another thing that we didn't expand upon. The audience at Comic-Con was actually a great audience. They were very, very good. They were very
receptive.
Yeah, they were very polite also. They actually really enjoyed the gameplay trailer, They laughed when you told Chad to shut up. You were looking at the water. And they just laughed.
Wait. So what you're saying is the audience was actually just a bunch of paid actors at Comic-Con.
Yeah, actually. We didn't notice that until we saw the $20 bills hanging out of their bottom pockets.
They didn't pay us anything.
Yeah, they didn't pay us or Amir, but we definitely saw some underhanded shady deals. No, but
when they were showing the trailer, they also they were like, oh yeah, and also one of the people from this is in the audience. Say hi, Amir, and they had Amir stand up and.
Oh, good for Amir. Why didn't you guys stand up? Because apparently you guys were in the trailer too.
Yeah, no, actually, when they were first talking about that, I was thinking to myself and telling Ape, oh, are they actually talking about us? I mean, I know we showed them the business cards, but they can't be that confused, can they?
yeah, they're just very much like
they just forgot who you are immediately after you left.
Yeah, they're like babies. Whenever you close their eyes, they think you've disappeared completely.
Now we can have you on record as calling everyone at Rare babies.
Yeah, they're like dewy newborns.
This is going nowhere.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome to the conversation.
Anyways, after that, they were actually going to play another video, and that was going to be the outtakes that they took, because they told us that you guys went a bit overboard with your reactions, so they had to cut it a lot. And they were actually going to show that video at Comic-Con, but the video was not playing properly, so they couldn't show it.
Yeah, but they said they'd upload it later. I don't know if they uploaded it yet.
Yeah, they said they'd upload it later when they upload the panel. And I think they will also be uploading the full panel sometime in the future also, just for people who weren't able to get out. But they also showed another video, which was just showing, like, the physics of the game, just showing the water and the night sky and
how the clouds
yeah,
worked.
the clouds. They did this real cool thing where they took the clouds and they changed up the clouds. They made it so it was like a clear sky or a very cloudy sky, and then they had like all of the clouds change into one huge cloud that was in the shape of a skull.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds cool. Now, I assume by cloud you're referring to the Final Fantasy VII character famously included in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't we be? I mean, he's in every game nowadays.
But yeah, they had it like set up as like some debug thing. They were like the art designer was doing this, and they were controlling all of this via like ship wheels.
Yeah, that was like the best part. They were just using like ship wheels. This was basically like a test room that they had. And it was beautiful, I have to say. Like just watching like the night and day cycles keep switching in like evening, early afternoon. It's just there is so much detail put into this game.
They specifically emphasized the clouds when they were showing the trailer. They were like, not many games like go this far to make the clouds like physical objects in the space. And so they were talking about how, like, from an art design standpoint, since you're seeing the clouds and the sky and the sea so much, that like they wanted to make sure that those were the most visually impressive things that the player, since the player would have to see them so often, that's why they physically modeled them out like they did. So,
well, yeah, and I'm. It's this is a hallmark of Rare. It's just gorgeous environments, and one of the biggest points of contention people still have with Nuts and Bolts is they were actually artificial worlds, in these little domes, and it just didn't feel the same, not to have like these just immaculately created landscapes, and you have. This is like Rare at its best too, because it's all tropical islands and vast seas, and nobody does water like Rare too. So, yeah, and of course the clouds are spectacular.
Yeah. In terms of the panel, though, that was about it. They ended by talking about the Pirate Lord. The figure we got. They're like, you know why he's glow in the dark, right? And then that actually came a big reveal that ghost pirates do exist in this game. Ghost pirates are a real thing, and that they've been toying around with them for a very long time.
And they showcased this like particle effect with the ghosts. I don't know quite how to describe it, but it was like they were like turning into squares toward the bottom, and it was like I don't know, it looked very cool.
Yeah, so the Pirate Lord, which I wasn't aware of his name, but it's one of the pieces of art we did see when we were at Rare. And we kept seeing this character pop up in various like pieces of art that they would show or that we would see on walls, and it would be like, who is this guy? And we were immediately intrigued because we thought he bore a great resemblance to the zombie pirate captain from Grabbed by the Ghoulies. So we actually had one theory that maybe this is the ghost of the zombie pirate captain. What we saw in Ghoulies was his body, but this is his spirit. I that's probably not the case, but it was a fun idea. But I have to wonder because Joe Neat revealed in an interview that when the character dies, as Banjo-Kazooie 2E2000 alluded to, when you die in game, you go to a ghost ship, and that makes me wonder: is the Pirate Lord the captain of the ghost ship, or is he another ghost that you encounter in game?
Yeah, they weren't very specific about that. They did mention the ghost like shipyard for when you die, but they didn't go into much detail.
Yeah, they didn't go into it much because we found out that Joe was actually not supposed to have talked about that during the interview, and that he had accidentally slipped up. That was something they were like trying to keep under wraps. So that's where it got out there.
Here we're worried about being under a non-disclosure agreement and what we can and cannot say, and then Joe Neat just goes and blows it, and thanks, Joe.
I do have to say Joe is a great guy, because after the panel was said and done, we met back up, and we reintroduced ourselves formally.
Yeah, so I went up and I said, I know I gave you the wrong business card before, but here's my actual business card. And so I handed him his own business card. And I said, I'm Joe Neat from Rare.
Of course, then Joe proceeded to do an eye
Beat you
roll, a
senseless?
chuckle, and then took his business card back.
Yeah, he's like, you can't handle this. This power.
So anyways, after that happened, Joe was very polite, and I got to do an interview with him. We went off to the side to one of the stairs, and we recorded about a 20-minute interview, which you can actually listen to right now. By the time this goes up on Saturday, it'll have already been up for about 3 to 4 days. By the time early Kongversation patrons are listening to this, it will have been at least 1 day, but I got to talk to him about a lot of stuff, like the game, the community.
And the fact that Black Eye, blah, 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 something.
We even talked about the podcast a little bit that they just started up, the Tavern Talk podcast.
Oh, and the contest where I was... Okay, so I was... During this interview, I was just holding the mic. I was letting Adam conduct the interview. And so... So he's like, they're talking about the contest entries and like how the variety and stuff. And they're like, yeah, there was this one, you were talking about this music entry, the one where they used the sequencer to draw stuff. And I'm like sitting there like, I'm like pointing to myself like, ah! And he's like, yeah, that one almost won. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I had to edit that out of the interview. So if there's like an awkward cut, that's why.
Well, again, he should not have granted you guys an interview after the business card stunt you pulled.
No, but Joe was a very nice guy, and we love you a lot, Joe. Thank you so much for that interview.
Yeah, you were great. You should have picked my entry. I want to go to Rare.
But no, if you guys really want to check out that interview that I did, you can go to geekscape.net, or Hyle, you'll probably have this in the description for YouTube, right?
Well, now I will. 'cause
Yeah,
I'm not
now
gonna edit this
you're
out.
obligated.
Jeez.
Self-plug.
Anyways, sadly, that was about the last time we saw the guys because we just weren't able to keep up with them or track them down. So now we move.
I'm sure they left San Diego at that point. They probably just.
No, they were around the next couple days, but
They were probably purposely trying to avoid us, you know.
Yeah.
They'd probably see us coming from a mile away. They'd be like, "Oh shit, there they are again! Hurry, just
Joe, get down.
Yeah, gas lamp district. Just go there."
Well, yeah, that sounds amazing. We got a lot of cool reveals though from this panel. I wasn't expecting things like the Pirate Lord to be revealed. So
also,
that's really cool.
handed out a single sleeve along with the figure. Yeah. So you got a sleeve and a figure at the same time.
And so basically, the next thing we went to was the Xbox at Nerd HQ. So they didn't have this whole. They didn't have a whole hotel to them this time. They just had a little children's museum, like first and second floor. But on that second floor was where you could go see a Sea of Thieves photo op. And this was like a 180 photo op where you could dress up as a pirate and take a picture on the shores of Sea of Thieves, the shores from the original announcement trailer for the game. And after that, they would give you a sticker book with a bunch of Sea of Thieves stickers, which is really cool. And then they would also give you another Sea of Thieves sleeve.
Yeah, so we ended up with two sets of the sleeves.
Yeah, by the way, I love those sleeves. Those are like amazing. I didn't take them off for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think I described them as like thunder vest for dogs because it was really hot. It was really hot wearing them, but they really calmed me down when I had them on.
Yeah. After that, the photo shoot, that was about it. And so now we actually move from our rare info into probably what will be our favorite parts to talk about in this show is the DKU stuff.
The Nintendo booth.
The Nintendo booth. Well, let's just start off with saying Nintendo's booth inside the exhibitor hall of Comic-Con.
Oh, it was the worst. It was awful.
Awful. It was very depressing, to put it, because all there was, you see all these other companies, like, pulling out so hard, like, having all these great games here for you, And
then Nintendo just has stuff from like 2013.
No. Capcom has stuff like Resident Evil 7, Dead Rising 4, you can play those. Namco literally has like a game that they just announced that day, Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, and a new Dragon Ball Xenoverse game. And over there in the corner, you have Nintendo with about 8 Splatoon demo stations set up, and that's about it.
Yeah. But then they had this off-site it was like a hotel across from the main convention center, and so they had this setup where they had games like they had Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, they had some other old games. Oh yeah, they had Yokai Watch, so that was something.
They had Yoshi's New Island, Mario Kart 7, New Super Mario Bros. 2, Yokai Watch. Pokemon Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. They
basically old games.
A bunch of old games. Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D.
Now, Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, it should be pointed out, they did have a prop on the show floor to promote this game that came out.
Yeah, so they had
2013.
Yeah, they actually had like this nice little Donkey Kong booth where, you could take a picture inside of the DK barrel with Donkey and Diddy. And then on the other side, they had demo stations like inside the DK barrels. And not only that, but you were sitting on bananas.
Yeah, like as far as decorating the displays went, I think they did a decent job.
So, but and this was a recreation too of the retro era jungle hut, Donkey Kong's treehouse in the retro era. So yeah, it's interesting that they went all out for this game that again came out 3 years ago.
No, yeah, they were also passing out these little activity books on one of the days, and that actually has like a little Donkey Kong activity thing. It's like, see how many bananas you can spot in this picture. There were 13 bananas, by the way.
What you don't know is that's actually what the NX is. It's just an activity book.
It's just a little activity book. You open it up, color some pictures. Oh. I'm sure you guys will be talking about that soon enough. The announcement is inevitable at this time.
Now I really hope we get a Donkey Kong game that just find the bananas.
Basically,
had a Metroid Prime Federation Force, just the Blast Ball demo, which felt very awkward to play, by the way.
I thought it was fine.
He thought it was fine, but I found the controls very awkward at first because, like, it has, like, C-stick functionality, but, like, the C-stick functionality was very odd. Like, it would work sometimes, but not the others. And I just went away very confused at the game.
I remember being very confused the first time I blasted my balls. It's fine. You get the hang of it eventually.
One of the cool things they did actually have was they had a giant 3DS there, like a giant 3DS screen set up. You've seen the movie The Wizard, right?
With Fred Savage.
Yes, where they go to like Video Armageddon and they do all the speed runs and the tournaments like that.
Right, yeah, and the Power Glove, of course.
Nintendo actually had like a setup like that where they had a giant 3DS, and on the top screen it would be split into 4 players, and 4 players could come up and they would play like events and stuff from these specific games. And one of them was actually like a speed race for Donkey Kong Country 3D. Every now and then, when the wheel would land on Donkey Kong Country, they would do there would be like 4 random fans who would go up, and they would have to speed run through the first level as like a race.
Also, we should mention, like, with these demo stations, they had like a little sticker thing where you if you got a sticker from each station, you could
could go to like a claw grab machine at the end. But the thing was, you had to answer a question that they had beforehand as to not so you just don't walk up, grab the sticker, and then like not play the game. So basically what you had to do was you actually had to play the game to know what the question was. Although we pretty much knew most of them because we literally have like half these games on our 3DSs.
Yeah, so we go up to the Donkey Kong booth.
So the Donkey Kong booth is the last thing we go up to, and we sort of saved this for last, but we go up to them, and the guy at the booth, mind you, he's a very nice guy, actually. He was super enthusiastic, very nice. He loved us, but
he also hadn't played. He also hadn't played the game.
He also basically hadn't played the game, and this is where the ultimate.
This is where we used your business cards.
This is where the business cards come in mind, and the biggest regret of your guys' entire lives. We go up, and the guy's like, "Hey, how you doing? You want to answer the Donkey Kong questions and stuff?" It's like, can we answer the Donkey Kong questions?
We're from DK Vine.
We're from the premier Donkey Kong fan site, DK Vine, and we pull out your guys' business cards.
We didn't show the name.
We didn't show your guys' names. We didn't show your contact info.
We only gave you like 2 business cards.
2 business cards each. We both had them.
Yeah.
So
I still had both my business cards, and he still had I
still had Chad's business card. Joe Neat has my Hyle business card. So now that's gone. I can't utilize its power anymore.
But we did use...
I'm glad I've been blackballed with Joe Neat, by the way. Thanks again.
And so, stealing your identity, we represented you guys for DK Vine at the Play Nintendo Lounge at the Donkey Kong area, and instead...
Hold on, guys. I'm just calling my lawyer. Don't. I do this every now and then. Continue talking.
But the guy was actually, instead of being shocked or angry or calling the police, the guy was very happy and enthusiastic, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are from a DK fan site? This is perfect. You guys can actually help me out with these quiz questions. I've been having trouble with them. I want you guys to give me more questions, you know?" And we're like, "What do you guys know about the game?" And so we're just sat there we're sat there a bit baffled because we haven't been tackled. We haven't had the cops called on us. We haven't been evicted from the premises yet.
Yeah, DK Vine didn't get us sent to jail. So.
Yeah, we're actually being celebrated right now.
Which usually is the case with... You can tell this guy didn't actually work for Nintendo because he would have called the cops if he knew there was the DK Vine presence.
But he was a very nice guy, and he was like, "Please, tell me about the stuff." So we gave him harder questions for people to answer.
Yeah, nobody's gonna ever get the stickers at the Nintendo booth.
We like to think that after we gave him those answers, literally no one was ever able to get another Donkey Kong sticker ever again.
Can you give me an example of some of the questions you gave?
What's the Checkpoint Pig's name?
Yeah, what's the Checkpoint Pig's name? Professor Chops, of course.
Professor Chops, of course.
And who is...
That's an easy question. That's like, come on, anybody could get that question.
Oh, of course, and just as easy, what's the name of the main villain in the game? I mean, Tiki Tong. I mean, who doesn't know how Tiki Tong made such an impressionable impression in those first 2 games?
It was very impressionable.
It was.
That impression that he impressioned.
The thing that we were going too far on when we were talking to him, what he said we went too far on, was who was the developer of this version, which was Monster Games. That was taking it too far. And that no one would understand.
Yeah,
yes.
That was the one that nobody was going to get, even though it's on the title screen.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, after that, the guy was still super, super excited about us, and he was like, "Hey, if you want to, we're going to be doing some Donkey Kong speed races in a couple of hours. Would you guys like to stay around and maybe represent your website for them?" And we're like...
Your website, oh my god.
Sure, we will do the Donkey Kong speed race for you guys. And he was also like, "Oh, thank you so much. Hold on a sec." And so he comes back and he shoves Donkey Kong pencils into our arms.
Yeah. That was our big piece of merchandise, Donkey Kong pencils.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I want to see these pencils. Second of all, when he said he shoved Donkey Kong pencils in I really didn't think you were going to end that with arms.
No. He gave them he gave us the pencils, and then during the speed run that happened, we just completely destroyed the other 2 players.
Yeah, I won by a couple seconds.
Yeah, we were neck and neck, but it was it was the most awkward thing for that host to commentate over, because by the time it began, we were already about halfway through the level, while some of the
the other two players were like at the beginning of the level while we were like halfway through.
Yeah, and it's like he was trying to keep up with both us and the other players. So he was like, okay, players 1 and 2, they're like neck and neck. They're like second by second. And he's like, oh, and players 3 and 4 are sort of still at the beginning. So by the time we ended it, like seconds apart, he's like, oh, player 1 and 2 did it, and players 3 and 4 are still near the beginning of the level.
Yeah, it was really awkward for that host.
Yeah, they actually had to do like another challenge after that, like right after, because it was such a quick.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting it to go as fast as it did.
Yeah, but
because it took like probably like 50 seconds or so.
After that, they actually gave us more Donkey Kong pencils.
Yeah, so we ended up with like 5 total.
We ended up with like 5 Donkey Kong pencils, which at one point we will have to send you guys a Donkey Kong pencil each because we have enough.
And because you misappropriated yourselves as
Chad
and Hyle
I mean,
from
they're your
DK
pencils. They're Chad and Hyle's pencils.
We did not represent Chad and Hyle.
We just represented DK Vine.
Yes, we presented DK Vine. Again, we did not show them your names or your contact info.
We just flashed the little logo that said DK Vine.
We just flashed the logo. You guys don't have to worry. You guys aren't going to be getting any emails from Nintendo asking if you want to become a part of their Nintendo Creator Program and play Blast Ball for a YouTube video.
Yes, they are.
It occurs to me now. Now I'm really worried what Mamechi is going to use our business cards for.
Did you guys give him that?
When we met you guys at E3, we gave you all sets of business cards. So we gave you two and Mamechi business cards because we met you in person, and that's what you do at E3. Not realizing the consequences that would fall. At least you won a speed run. In our name.
We represented you pretty well, I think.
Yeah, I can only imagine the horrifying things that Mamechi is doing to those poor Disney executives over at Comic-Con while flashing the DK Vine logo at them.
Hi, I'm from DK Vine. Why don't you show me these duck art?
Hey guys, it's me, Chad and Hyle from DK Vine. Ducks. There are ducks in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, there were ducks, and so that what is your favorite duck?
Can you guys just put Donkey Kong in the new DuckTales? I mean, come on, guys, just please. I'm from DK Vine.
So anyway, you want to speedrun in DK Vine's honor? Thank you very much. You got some pencils. Anything else to your experiences with Nintendo?
Gosh, that was about it, wasn't it?
I think so. We went back a little.
We went back a couple of times, but there wasn't much to say about that either. We were just like, at one point, we were just bored, and so we just headed there and played like a round or two of Mario Kart 7.
Mario Kart 7, I like that it's Mario Kart 7, not even Mario Kart 8, not even the newest Mario Kart. Mario Kart 7.
Actually, they did have Mario Kart 8. They actually had this very interesting competition that was going throughout all the days where it was called like the Play Nintendo Challenge. And basically what you had to do was you had to win one round of Splatoon, one round of Mario Kart, and one round of Pokken Tournament. And then you would win a t-shirt with all those 3 games on it. You'd be crowned the Play Nintendo champion.
I do have a question though. Was it a Pokestop?
We don't know. We weren't playing Pokemon Go.
I was, and I think it actually was a Pokestop at one of the spots was
because my phone was drastically and rapidly dying each day.
Your phone is terrible.
It is.
Well, all you need to do is turn on Pokemon Go for 5 minutes, and your phone is basically dead. So
yeah, it does drain your battery pretty bad.
All right. Well, any other anecdotes that are not related to the Donkey Kong universe that you guys have to share?
Would you like to hear the story about how our amazing story about trying to get into the convention center on Saturday?
Well, if it's amazing, of course I want to hear this. Please, delight me.
So Saturday morning was probably the earliest we had to wake up because I am obligated by... I had to do other things rather than DK Vine stuff for the website that I love, geekscape.net.
Other than DK Vine stuff.
I had volunteered to attend the My Little Pony panel in the morning at like 10 in the morning.
Hold on. Let me take off my pants. Hold on.
You're good. I understand.
Yeah, we're
Everyone at the panel had their pants off.
Yeah. So it was very awkward. Most people weren't wearing pants in that line. I really don't understand it, but...
I think it would be awkward if they were wearing pants.
But anyway, so... knowing that it's probably going to be one of the more popular panels, I decide, okay, we're going to wake up at 6, get there around 7:30, 7:45, because it's about a 38-minute bus ride. And so we get there around like 7:45-ish, and we're like, okay, we're making great time. And so we go to the exhibit hall, one of the entrances, exhibit hall E, which is where we entered for Sea of Thieves, and the door was not open yet. And so we're like, okay, this is not open yet, let's try and find another entrance. And so we keep walking a bit, and we catch a security guy. We're like, hey, where is the line to get into the exhibit hall? And he's like, oh, all the way down there. You guys have to go to G. It's like, at first I'm like, are you sure? Because I'm press. Is there any other way? And he's like, oh, no, you guys have to go all the way down to exhibit hall G. So we're like...
That was the general admission.
Yeah, and that's general admission, which we will heavily expand upon in just a few short seconds. So we walk down to general admission hall G, and we see that people are going in, and so we're like, okay, so this is moving pretty fast. There's already people going in. This is good. And so we're like...
Okay, let's find the back of the line.
Yeah, let's find the back of the line, and we start following the line, and at one point I'm like, wait a second, is this the Hall H line, isn't it? I mean, like, it's in the same waiting area as the Hall H line, so this has to be the Hall H line, right? And they're like, no, this is the general admission line.
And so it loops all the way around the convention hall.
Oh, yeah, it loops all the way around the convention hall, all the way in the back, and it even spreads onto one of the islands over there. It, like, spreads onto one of the islands.
Yeah, so, like, the line was so long for G that day that, like, it could not stay contained to the center.
Yeah, it was like literally spreading like an infectious disease out to like multiple islands that they had over there. People were like waiting like almost like a mile or two away just to get inside this place. And so me and Ape are looking horrified at what we are seeing right now as we try to find the back of this line. And somewhere around the back of the convention center, when we finally get there, we give up, and I decide, you know what? There is nobody in this press line, okay? There's nobody in this general admission line that is press. I am going to find a press entry for us. So I go to one of the guys, and I'm like, hi, where's the press entrance? There's got to be a press entrance, right? And at first, the guy seems a bit confused, so he just says no. And so I look at him very shocked.
Oh, yeah, he looked like he was going to have a heart attack.
And at one point, the guy must have realized that he said no, because after that, he went, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, it's back in the front of the convention center. So what we have to do now is we have to walk all the way around back to the front of the convention center, which takes us a good, 20-25 minutes to do. And so we finally get back up around A, to Exhibit Hall A, and we're like, hey, we're looking for the press admission. Can we get in here? And they're like, oh, no, you have to go down to B1. And so we're like, okay, so we go down to B1, and we're like, hi, we're press. Can we come in? They're like, no, you have to go down to B2. And so we begrudgingly go down to B2. B2 tells us we have to go to C, and so we make our way to C, getting a little bit angry at the moment, and of course we get to C, and what else? They tell us to go to D. And so now we have almost made a complete full circle around this convention center twice, and we are finally at D, and we ask them, is this the press line to get in? And they're like, yes, but it doesn't open for another 30 minutes. And so we wait for about 30 minutes, and they end up opening the doors after 30 minutes. We're getting ready. We were sitting, so we get up, we get ready to go in, and then we hear a voice that tells us, sorry, we're not letting in press or professionals right now. We're only letting in people that have an exhibit hall booth, like vendors or exhibitors. And so we're just sitting there stunned right now, since we have been like raggedly thrown around all of these different places. And
this is pretty much the Comic-Con experience.
Yeah.
Is standing in line.
But wait, guys. You didn't, I don't know, give them our business cards and try to get in?
Excuse me, I'm Hyle Russell. Why don't you let me in?
Excuse me, we're from a very prestigious fan site about Donkey Kong video games. Of course, you have heard of us before.
It's the premier horse fucking website online.
Oh, that's bad. No, we were having trouble, and so we're like, hi, we have to get in right now. Where do we go? And they're like, oh, you guys have to go wait over at E. So now, we have finally made, after an hour and 30 minutes, we have finally made a full circle back to where we originally were, which was Exhibit Hall E, and we're just waiting for them to open. They finally open like 3 minutes later, which was weird because they told us that they wouldn't be opening until 9:30, but they open up, and we're very confused at this moment. We're like, so can we go in now? Like, is this the right place? We go ask them, we're like, hey, is this the press entrance? And they're like, oh, no, this isn't. You guys have to go back to D. That's where the press entrance is. And we're like, but they told us that they weren't accepting press. They're like, oh, no, they're wrong. You guys can go into D, it's fine. And so we both look very confused, and we're like, okay, let's go back to D. So then we go back to D, and we're like, hey, we were told by E to come back here. And they're like, no, you guys can't come in here until 9:30. And we're like, but they told us we could come in here. And they're like, no, you guys have to go through E. And so I'm about ready to blow at this point. So we walk up to E, and I'm like, okay, we are, please let us in. We are press. We have to get inside for a panel that's about to start. Can you please let us in? And they're like, no, you guys have to go to D. And I'm like, we already tried D. They're not letting anyone besides exhibitors and vendors into that hall until 9:30. And they're like, oh, you guys are press? Yeah, sure, come in. And, like,
What you're missing is that he was practically yelling this stuff because he was so frustrated at that point.
I just couldn't find words at that point, as he just casually let us go in after the 8th time I told him we were pressed.
It was really ridiculous. Comic-Con is awful, and you just stand in line. It's a disorganized mess. So that's our Comic-Con experience, was standing in line a lot and walking around in circles.
We loved it, though.
Yeah, we had fun.
Yeah, I don't think Comic-Con just doesn't sound that appealing to me. E3 is bad enough.
You do not want to go to Comic-Con without a press badge.
Yes, please. Seriously, if you guys ever do attend Comic-Con, if all of a sudden, like, because of this episode, people decide to fund you through the Patreon, and you guys get, like, $12,000 a month now, and you guys decide to go to Comic-Con next year.
If we're getting $12,000 a month, I think I can think of better ways to spend it than to go to Comic-Con.
But
yeah, you want a press badge.
It definitely is much better and cuts down on about
like
an extra 2 to 3 hours waiting in line.
I'll try to get a press badge, but can I ask you guys a favor? Can I have your business cards?
This has been a File 2 production.
Qué rico.